All right, guys, like I said, there was a lot of unpack. That was for the short little video clip to get that out there. I want to continue on because this is really, after thinking about it last night, reading the frustrations, the angers that is all over Facebook, the division that is just growing massively with, especially in the political landscape. But they say the left, right, and they say the right, and the left is evil, and the left is a party of violence, and like unfortunately, we see a lot of these things, so it creates that aspect of it. But what it really always goes back to is right from wrong, and what's considered right and what was considered wrong way, right? What God considered it. But unfortunately, we live in a world where everything that we have been taught, we understand and believe within God's word is being taught now with our schools, with society, with colleges, with political leaders, that stuff is wrong. And they're persecuted. And we know that we are going to be persecuted. We know that as time advances, they are going to attack you. But that doesn't mean it's time to shut up. That doesn't mean it's time to sit back because of cancel culture or afraid of what your friends might think of you because you speak the truth. You speak from the Bible, right? And you call out these things just like Charlie did, unfortunately, and has been doing, right? And somebody couldn't handle it. And that's the evil. That's where people talk about the evil. Whether they consider themselves a Democrat or Republican, it still comes from an evil place, right? We know from the Bible it comes from an evil place in their heart, which is being led by who? Satan. And here's the question I had, and I had this little kind of argument on Facebook, not even argument, debate, because I was trying to be nice about it, but I was trying to point out to someone, if you are looking at things in a worldly way, not the biblical way, okay? If you're agreeing with the world, you're agreeing with what's coming out, that this is okay to do this, that it's okay to kill unborn babies, right? This is a huge subject. It freaks everybody out, and half the people want to fight over it, right? But that's not what God said in the Bible. He knew you when you were in the room, right? He knew the babies. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible you can unpack that talks about that, right? But if you go against it, you are hated because it has touched or affected somebody. 65 million babies have been killed, right? But that's a bad subject line, and you're going to get attacked. I'm going to get attacked. Someone's going to put crap in the comments and want to come at me. But if you're going to stand for truth, which is in the Bible, you have to stand for that truth, right? And then when it comes to the immoralities and the things that we see with the constant of just giving your body away in a sexual nature, right? Sleeping around. I think that's affected almost every single one of us because we have a sinful nature. Me when I was young, me when I wasn't following Christ. It's acceptable to drink and do drugs and do all these things, right? It's acceptable to change the sex that God gave you. It's acceptable now in the world that a man can sleep with a man and a woman can sleep with a woman. It's acceptable, and you're supposed to accept the fact that somebody says they're a cat, or they want to be a furry, or they want to be a girl, or they want to be a guy, or they don't want to be a sex at all, or they want 1,000 different genders, right? That has become an acceptable norm in this world that has been forced down your throats, forced you to believe it, because we've got the media, we got social media, we got political people, we've got influencers in social world that are all telling you the same thing. And if you don't, what do they do to you? If you stand for what you know is truth, if you stand for what you know is truth in God's word, what happens? What do? They get angry, they get mad, they attack you. It was cancel culture, but now we are starting to see what I call kill culture. They are now starting to go to the next level of persecution. We've already seen it in foreign countries all the time. We see missionaries and all kinds of people get murdered because they're out there sharing the word of Christ. And what are we seeing in America now? We are seeing kill culture. We just seen it with Charlie yesterday. They don't want the truth out. And you know who doesn't? Who's controlling them? It's Satan. It's the evil side. They can be saved too. Those folks in there that are against God or not wanting to accept God and persecuting you, they can be saved too. They are still a child of God. They just have a blind eye to him. But I am fighting for this because I know people are going to be afraid right now. People are going to be scared even more because they scared you with the forced culture, right? Forcing it down your throats, right? States and governors and everybody, political leaders, forcing it down your throat, creating laws that makes you believe it or makes you live by it, even though it blatantly goes against the Bible and what God says, right? They have done that to you. So it has caused so many countless Christians to recess back away from it out of fear and retaliation and persecution, and not willing to stand up and fight for the word and fight for God. And I say fight, and people always say that's a bad word now. Fight, 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 especially because of Trump in office. But fight means is the willingness deep down inside, the grit to grab a hold and stand up for what you know is right. And it's not, I'm not saying fight about get out in the streets and let's, all that, because you're going to hear that. You're going to hear people that I already see it all over right-wing social medias, right? That right side, or the ones that want to say Christians and the ones that are against it, right? There's these different divisions, which is what Satan wants and created. Okay, that's what he does. And unfortunately, it happens to us, right? When I talk about fight, I'm not talking about going out there. I'm talking about fighting in truth and fighting in love. And God says so specifically. And you guys, if anything you do today, when you look at some of these verses I talked about, I really want you to go look at Ephesians 4. Read that whole chapter. I'm not going to read it all to you in this video, but there is so much to unpack in there. But the one that stands out to me the most, where did it go? Ephesians 4:15. Instead, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of the body of the church. With love. Is it coming from a place of love, or did Satan get in, and are you coming of a place of hatred? See, that's the hard part, man, because I know right now there's hatred. I was upset yesterday. There's just like this anger inside because they want to kill culture now. And they've already forced stuff and they've cornered you and put you in a corner. And then you start getting the hatred, and that's Satan winning. That's Satan getting in your soul and winning. God didn't say to come at him with hatred. And if you come at him with hatred and you return like for like they do, are they going to want to join you eventually? Are they want to join God? No, they're angry, they're upset, they're listening to the world, they're listening to Satan, they're hating that, all that stuff. Don't do that. Don't be the one that does that. It has to be done in love. I don't think Charlie did it out of hate, even though they wanted to attack him and the medias and everybody wanted to come at him from that side and attack him for it. But I don't believe that man came at people without coming from a place of love. I mean, that was one of the greatest debaters. He didn't get angry. He didn't sit there and want to just tear people apart. He came with them from a loving heart of Christ. And that's why I say you have to read Ephesians 4, guys. Read all of it. I mean, I really want to read it all because there's some amazing stuff in here that tells us. But most importantly, my message today is I don't want to see Christians retreat. I don't want to, we're already, let's be real. A lot of you have already retreated. I did. You don't want to talk about it at work. You don't even want to mention about Christ, right? It's just like back when Christ was getting, nailed to the cross. Do you guys remember? Was it Peter? I think 3 times you will deny me. 3 times you will deny me. I mean, there's an example of, there's the human nature side. Fearful, afraid of the persecution. And what happened to the disciples? Do you guys know what happens to the disciples? Do you know each one of their stories and what ended up happening as they were persecuted and put to death and the things that they went to and imprisoned? We've seen it. It's there. It's happening, and it's going to happen again. But that does not mean you retreat and you give up on your love and your belief for God, for Christ dying on the cross for you. You can't. You have to stand up for that truth. This is the time. They may have taken out a great man that's spoken out there and took his off the campuses or whatever the case may be out of fear and hate and anger and disgust and pure evilness because they didn't like what he had to say. They didn't like what Jesus had to say because Jesus and God was speaking through Charlie, and they didn't like Jesus. So remember, that's who they're trying to persecute. They are in denial of Jesus. They are in denial of God 100%. They don't want to believe it. They want to believe what the world tells them. You know why? Because it's easier. It's nicer on them. Makes their lives more comfortable, right? All these gifts that the Satan wants to give them, so they stay there. And you know how I know? Because I was there. And I'm sure at one point in time you were there too. And there is a lot of days we battle with where the world pulls you back. It's easy to get pulled back into the world. And that's what they have done to us. And how? Think about it again. Cancel culture, right? Forced culture, forcing it down your throats. Then when you weren't accepted, they were the victims. Think about it. All these over the years, as we have seen this progress, as truth is no longer right, they have done that, as the wrong is continued to be pushed as the right, what has happened? Then they did the cancel culture. You put something on social media, they're going to cancel you. They're going to tell everybody. Then you're going to feel estranged and weird, and maybe you're going to be disliked, and then people are going to have a bad thought about you, and you get that inside. They know how to work it. Satan knows how to work through them to use the fear to get into you, and you know that's not from God. Think about that. Is that from God? What they do, what they're pushing, is that from God? Because that's not what God says to do in Ephesians 4, right? But that's what they do. And now we just continue to see these cancel or kill culture happening all around us. That is evil. That is not guns. They want to take the guns away because that's biblical. It's literally biblical. As we get to the end times, they want to take the guns away, just like they want to take the money away, because they got to be able to control the money. And as we continue down a path, and that's where the political part comes in, because I hate to say it, guys, but when you see a lot of this stuff from the other side and the political side of it and the beliefs and the things they're shoving down your throats, it is not biblical. So that's where folks are going to say it's evil. Well, if it's not of God, then it must be of Satan, and Satan's evil. So it must be evil. But they've convinced you, and they're trying hard to convince you otherwise. And if they ain't listening, or you ain't listening, what are they doing now? They're going to start killing. And that's the sad part that we see out there. It just breaks my heart. But we as Christians, man, you have to fight for what's right. And you're fighting for God, and you're fighting for God's word. But at the same time, you're fighting for your fellow brother and sister so that their souls are not lost. They're not lost and gone to hell and follow that direction. You're fighting for your brothers and sisters' souls to join us, to join you in heaven with God, like he taught us, right? Just don't give up, guys. Don't give up. Don't let them get to you. Don't let society get to you. Don't let the world get to you. Don't let Satan in. Don't let the hate come into you. If anything, bring out more love. Come from a place of love and stand for what is right. Stand for God's word today, guys. Don't back off, okay? You can't. This is when a million Charlies have to rise up. Millions and millions of us. She said, if you remember when I posted it and you've seen the lady on Facebook and went around and got millions of views, she was talking about she felt like God told her what is dead will rise. And that's the key. Christianity had been dying massively, especially in the United States, because the evil over there has been shoving it down their throats and taking people and silencing them and moving them away from God. And when you're silent and you're away from the church and you're away from your community of people and your community of believers, it's easy. Trust me, I did, and I know it's easy to get sucked into the worldly ways. It's easy for Satan to creep in and take over you today. All right, guys, so take this message for what it is. Those of you who want to hate on me, awesome. Bring the hate, because I will suffer for Christ. I will suffer for God. I will. Question is, will you? Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.